of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. AMP2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Good evening, everyone. So beautiful to see you here. I hope you're safe and you are well. My name is Leslie Carmen. I'm with Carmen Care Health and Wellness Institute. And this is Dr. Kim Skokan, and she is a naturopath. And we're really excited to be together. We met each other about a month ago, and we have developed a new way of being able to heal people and help people all over the United States, not only in Boca Raton, but also Florida and so forth. We're going to explain that to you a little bit. So I have my clinic since 2013, and I've been doing laser therapy for pain, acute, chronic, and severe pain. And we also offer something called laser energy detoxification. And we also address the emotions when somebody comes in that has been, not feeling well and ill for many, many years. That does take an emotional tone. So we've created a protocol that addresses all three. So now with the COVID-19, when I was at home and we were all restricted, we couldn't go out, couldn't be in our clinic, I started thinking, well, how can we still offer this service to people without really seeing anybody or having anyone come into our clinic? So that sparked a whole new way of helping people by doing this virtually. And that's why I was so happy when I met Dr. Kim, because she's going to explain what she does, but she has this way of getting biofeedback from you, and then this machine can give you all sorts of information and reports, and we can do this virtually. So what we would do on our side, again, I just want to break that down into three therapies that we do. So we do laser therapy for the pain, then we do a form of detoxing of all the heavy metals and your emotions and things like that, and then we do the Reiki and the Psyche virtually. So doing these three things together has just brought immense healing to people because we're addressing various things in the body. So when we now do the laser, usually you come to us in the clinic in Boca Raton, but now we have these two different lasers that we've been using for quite a while. So this is really a Comra therapy device, and it has laser light, ultrasound, and magnets. So we would ship this device to you, and then we do Skype calls or Facebook calls, and then we tell you exactly how to use this device based on your illness, based on your pain. There's also a bit of a more expensive laser, a little bit of a higher quality, but they're both very, very good. And so we put together your custom protocol. So once we've done that part, we have Dr. Kim, and she is going to explain to you how her system works and what she does.
So thanks for having me. I do bioenergetic testing, which is testing the energy of your body. And I do that at Leslie's Center, at the Carmen Center, or I also send out DNA test kits. And basically what we use is your saliva. You send them back, and I'm able to test all of the imbalances in your energetic system. Those could be environmental, allergy sensitivities, food sensitivities, emotional, things that could be causing you pain and inflammation. If there's energy blockages in your body, those could be causing inflammation for you. I also do emotions. Emotional testing is a big thing because we have a lot of emotions that are suppressed in our body, and if we don't acknowledge them and release them, then they just sit with us for years and years as residue, and sometimes over time they can become an illness. I also test for your whole body, which basically shows your skeletal system, your which is your vertebrae, and also your dental, and which imbalances are affecting your organs. And again, if there's imbalances in your organs, that could be leading to symptoms that could be to underlying diseases that you may have. And this just helps show any of the energies that are imbalanced in your body. We don't diagnose And we don't treat, but we definitely try to help you manage any symptoms that you may be having through any of the imbalances that are in your body.
Perfect. And so you're going to send them a kit, a swab kit.
Yes.
And I think there are 2 in them. Is that right?
Yes, one is for the first initial test, and then the next one is after their whatever the protocol says. So it could be like 3 weeks to 6 weeks, and then they'll take the next one when we're done with the protocol, and then we'll balance. We'll look to see what got rebalanced and what is still imbalanced, if there is any imbalances.
Perfect. And so that's just a swab test, right?
Yes.
They just take that, they
open
swab
swab
it,
and send it back.
and they send it back. And
Yes.
so, like, if that's in the snow or in the heat, that doesn't get any,
No, it's
nothing
fine.
happens.
Nope, it's all energy.
Perfect, right? Exactly. Yeah, super. And then you test that.
Yes.
And then what does the patient get? A report or?
Yes, so initially I'll call them to have a review, see what's going on with them, look to see what other scans that we might be running, and then I'll get the test kit back. I'll go ahead and run the assessments, and then I'll go over those with you, of course, and then I go over them with the client, and then we, from whatever the review shows, we'll come up with a protocol to best help them if there is pain, if there's digestive issues, if there are emotional issues. We can fix those, help rebalance those with either drops or with your lasers. Sometimes people don't realize that there's food issues that are going on.
Right.
They could have like arthritis or Parkinson's or certain things, but there's other triggers that are going to have those symptoms flare up.
Correct.
So with our scans, we can help show what those could be.
Right. And that's going to show in the report, right?
Yes.
And so our plan is we're going to read that report together. You're going to help me understand that. And then we're going to put together. So if we see skeletal or muscular issues, so we'll sit together. We'll say, all right, let's address that with the laser.
Yes.
Then I think you also can read some organs that are maybe not working as well as they should, or some, what do you call it, imbalances in the organs?
Yes, any imbalances in the body. So the energy imbalances don't show up on modern tests. It doesn't show up in your x-rays, CT scans, or MRIs. So this is just all based off energy.
Yep. So this is why this is also really important, because in traditional medicine, you look at certain things, certain areas, but you don't really look at, let's say, Epstein-Barr, at least not in the traditional medicine. They don't really address mold. I know nearly nobody addresses mold, and mold can really cause terrible things. I mean, you lose your hair, you have migraine headaches, you can lose weight, you can feel sick. I mean, I've had families come to us that were so sick, their dogs actually died due to the mold, and that's when they realized something's wrong with the dog. And then that's when they realized, oh my God, we have mold in the house, and that's why their hair was falling out and they weren't feeling well. So this test, is that correct, can see if there's some mold issue probably going. Again, we don't diagnose, but it'll show us
Correct.
that there could be a mold issue.
It will show if there's any mold sensitivity. So if the person's sensitive, it'll show any sensitivities. So it'll show, it could be mold, it could be pollen, it could be flowers, it could be spices. But yes, it'll show, it can show any of the sensitivities.
Yes, so that's very good. So then we can start addressing that, you know?
Yes.
So how does one address the mold situation? Well, there are a couple of things that you can do. First of all, you probably want to get a company in to mitigate, and at least you want to find the root cause of why have you been so sick. So you look at the mold, somebody comes out there and makes sure that there's, you know, that the bathroom is clean, the kitchen and all that. So once you've addressed that, then we can start helping you with detoxing and desensitizing you from the mold.
Yes.
And then we can also help with the laser as well, because you can start giving healing and supporting your organs to start letting go of the mold that's in your body, because many times your organs are just over toxic.
Correct.
With this. So you want to be able to maybe, you know, drink more fluid and do different things, and you have drops that you offer as well.
Yes, so the drops help rebalance all the imbalances from showing with the sensitivity. So if there are mold sensitivities, it will help rebalance those as well. And also going further with how people can check if there is mold. I mean, sometimes you could go to a hotel or something, and if the temperature, the thermostat isn't set the right way, or you could have it behind the walls. There's all kinds of different ways to get it. So it may not be visible to you, but you could have symptoms of allergies and not know that is something else is going on. And the drops will help any of the sensitivities that you may have if they're showing up as an energetic imbalance.
Yep. And you've seen that people also sleep better, they can focus better, after taking these drops and doing this?
Yes, I have several patients or clients, I should say. I have a few that have Parkinson's, and I've noticed that they're down to about a quarter of the tremors that they were having.
Fabulous.
And it's also, I think, because there is other triggers. Like I was speaking, it's because they're in their environment. A lot of times you see clients will go to do different protocols. They leave their environment, they start to get better, they go back to their environment, and they go right back to the same situation. And
Right.
I think you and I spoke about, you talked about people with pain, you make them change their environment.
Correct.
Because once you learn new behavior or you have new experiences, you go right back to your old, and you go right back to the same self, and you're used to certain things, and those are triggers for just emotional pain that maybe you really aren't even having right now, but you're just so used to that behavior and those
Right.
patterns.
Yeah, we were saying, like, when you go back to your room when you were a child, let's say you leave the home and then you come back, you visit your old home and you go into the room, don't you every time get hit with something, like an emotion, a smell, maybe a song you were hearing at that time, and that room can just trigger all sorts of memories. Well, if you've been in a room for, let's say, 2-3 years, and we have patients that have literally been in their room for 2-3 years with pain, crying, and they've been in there 24/7, and now they leave there, they come to us, and they recuperate, and now we always tell them, just go back and change your room, or change it before you even leave, change the color, the bedding, the situation, anything, even maybe sleep in a completely different room, because when you come back, believe it or not, those cells have that memory.
Sure.
And just the bed or the color or a sound could trigger you right back into that.
Absolutely, it's the energy.
The
It's
energy,
still holding onto
exactly,
it, and
yeah.
you have new energy now. But when you go back, exactly right, to the same energy,
Yep.
you're going to have the same result.
Right. And so you were talking about Parkinson's before. We have a very, very good case. A gentleman that I was treating with Parkinson's, he did fantastic. His sense of smell returned.
Wow.
His tremors were less. When he came in through the waiting room, he was very unstable. And when he left after his series of treatments, he was actually able to do a little dance. And he was, look at this, how great. So, this is so beautiful that
Yes.
we've met each other, because now we have this perfect synergy.
Yes.
That imagine how well those patients would do with the laser and what we're doing, and then with your addition,
Yes.
that we're going to be able to just make this a much better therapy.
Absolutely, because we can go so much further and so much deeper. It's like peeling back an onion, trying to find out and discover what is going on and what imbalances are triggering certain things, or that are causing they could be causing certain effects for symptoms for other things. I
Correct.
see a lot of times clients will come in and they're diagnosed with something, but they have something totally different. We find out later through our scannings, and then also if they are to go see somebody else. But all those symptoms check that box. So of course, they go to the doctor, they say, I have these symptoms. The doctor says, okay, well then you have this. That's not always the case. So we find that people are like, I know I have this, or I know I feel this way, but either the test results come back negative, but they know they're not crazy, they know they're still going through whatever it is they're going through, and if it doesn't fit in that category, then it doesn't work. I know growing up, my mom was sick, and she was going through a lot of different testing, and it got to the point where she was going through so many different tests, and she knew what she was experiencing. It was real, and everything kept coming back negative. And over time, you could see that getting to her and wearing her down, because she knew this was happening. And then it gets to a point where you question yourself. It's like, well, no, they are real. It was real, and later on, she was diagnosed. And to this day, she's still, going through things. But it's sad to see. It's so difficult to pinpoint whatever the situation is, or whatever they're going through. Anyone's going through. So it's so nice that we have something that we can help anyone with anything the best that we can. Show it. Okay, you may not realize you may not realize you have nightshade sensitivities. You went to the allergist. They tested you for certain things. It didn't show up as an allergy, but you still could have a sensitivity to it. It still could give you all of the stomach issues, the bloating, but you may not know that because the allergies doctor or you're not allergic. Oh, but you're still having issues. And every time you eat it, 95% of the time when I tell people about their food sensitivities, they know it.
They all know it already.
They knew it, and they laugh about it, and they're like, I have a gentleman who loves oysters. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but it says that you have a sensitivity. He's like, I know every time I eat them, I get sick.
Yeah.
So you knew, but I confirmed it, you know, and sometimes people need that. Also, sometimes people need permission. You know, I see that a lot too. Some people like know what's going on with them, but because we've been, you know, guided so long that don't question anything, you know, don't say anything, but they know. And then when I confirm with them, or hey, do you know about this? They can't believe, one, I know, and two, it's like, yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Or I'll have times when people have imbalances and they're telling me that this is hurting, but then I'm like, well, no, it's showing you have an imbalance in this. Like if your left leg is hurting, I'm like, I'm seeing something going on in the right leg, you know, something that's associated with something totally different, you know.
Fascinating.
So it's nice that we can find those imbalances as well.
Yep. So basically this is like a tool, and you know, I was thinking before, if you look up to the sky, right, and you just see the North Star, the moon, a couple of stars, and that's all you see because we just have our eyes.
Sure.
But now if you have a microscope, a huge, you know, microscope, and you can suddenly see there are other stars, other galaxies. I mean, some of these microscopes show us, you know, huge galaxies. So just because we couldn't see it didn't mean it didn't exist, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this tool, I was thinking, is really like a whole new microscope for our own body.
Yes.
Because it's showing us things that we just didn't even know existed, because right now you can't see it in an MRI.
Correct.
You can't see it in an X-ray. You can't see it in a blood test. So many people say, well, I took a blood test. Yeah, but they're not looking for that.
Exactly.
They're not looking for what your
Exactly.
device can see and pick up.
Exactly.
So this is so fabulous because this is a whole new tool
Yes.
that is non-invasive.
Yes. Nope. No pain.
No pain.
No pain at all. Does
No
not
pain
hurt at all. No.
And it's just so fascinating because this is going to open up such great doors for us and for you as listeners and people in suffering with pain, because now with this whole new thing that we've created, thanks to you coming on board with me.
Well, I'm so thankful that we found each other
Yes,
and that
it's
we're
great.
able to help others.
Right, and for all those people
Yes.
suffering, we can now take this whole system and bring it to people that can't come to see us.
Yes.
Because I have so many people calling me and say, I wish I could come for that 21-day protocol, but I can't leave my kids, or I'm in so much pain, just getting in the car is unbearable, how could I even fly?
Sure.
And then it's you know, how come you afford 3 weeks in a hotel and so forth. So that was always really sad to me, knowing that we have this amazing way of being able to heal someone.
Yes.
Or largely help them reduce pain, yet we can't get it to you. So I've always believed when one door closes, another one opens.
Absolutely.
So although this COVID-19 has been tragic for very, very many people, and we both send out our condolences to anybody who's lost someone. But at the end, we have to say maybe this was also a blessing in disguise, because it developed this that can now come out and reach so many more people.
Absolutely.
At an affordable way, and so that you don't have to travel, you don't have to come see us. We can do this virtually. And what I loved about your system as well is you were talking about the emotions.
Yes.
So you see, when you come to the clinic, we do something called muscle testing, where you put your arm out and I'll figure out the emotions based on your muscle testing. It's hard to do that, you know, over the
absolutely.
over the phone or over Zoom.
Absolutely.
But now with your report, you're going to be able to tell us what the emotions are.
Yes.
And then through the Reiki and through Psyche and through meditation, we can now address those emotions. And many times, you know, we don't see them because they're deep. They're deep,
They've been
deep
suppressed.
in.
Yes,
yeah, they're
absolutely.
being suppressed. So we're going to be able to get to those even faster,
Sure.
even better. You're going to be able to tell me how to use the laser, where to use the laser, on what areas. So I think it's just a win-win-win situation, and we're really excited.
Yes, and also going deeper with the emotional part, it's amazing how much our emotions impact us on a daily basis. Every decision we make, relationships we're in, opportunities that we may take or have passed up because we don't have the self-esteem, or we were seeking approval that we weren't getting, so we don't think we're good enough, or we're seeking for something else. And it's very interesting how there's so many emotions that, I mean, there's stuff that shows like, probably when I was like 2 or 3, you know, something happened, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Right,
And I say that like self-esteem, or it'll show, you know, like looking for, you know, approval, and you know, I definitely know where that exactly comes from, you know. So it's just like, oh, and now that you realize it, we have ways of releasing it, and moving forward, because then your body, right now it's stopping, because if it shows up on the assessment, it's an imbalance and it's affecting you and it's affecting your energetic system. So we can like fix those, and it's great that we have the opportunity to be able to, it also with detoxing too, that you know helps too, because it's not just people go into detox and they end up in the bathroom for 3 days because they're only detoxing, you know, it's flushing out the fluids and everything else, but it goes much deeper than that. There's every organ needs to be detoxed. You know, this is energy is holding on to everything. They talk about transplants, and the person that gets the transplant craves whatever that person, the donor has.
Isn't that fascinating?
Energy is everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it has memory. You know, so there's memories with us that we may not acknowledge or maybe may not be with us on a daily basis, but they're there and they're affecting us right now. And if things that are negative, it'd be great to just get rid of it. You know, they talk about changing the thought and, you know, your brain and things like that. Well, it's kind of hard to change that if you don't know what to let go of.
Exactly, and this will really springboard you to find out what it is, because isn't it so that a lot of times it goes back to nearly when you're 3, 4, 5, one of those early things that happened to you that somebody said to you, right? That's really what is, so you're living your entire life based on something that happened to you when you were 5 years old or 6 years old, and you maybe suppress it so you don't know it. So this way we can find out so much faster than spending years of going into therapy. And that's really what quite a few people have told us. They said, you know, I've gone years to therapy and we were able to figure this out in just a little bit, right? In a short amount of time. So, all right, Kim, well, it was such a pleasure
Thank you so much
being
for
here
having
with you.
me.
We hope that this has been informative for you. Please give us a call at 561-405-9577, and we'd be happy to talk to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.